Welcome to the TALKESHI podcast, episode 86. Yeah, so it's Aries season, clearly. I'm wearing my Aries outfit. Like, this dress, I bought it at like a thrift store years ago, and every time it's like Aries season or I have an Aries shoot, I always put it on because it's just so cunty. It's just such a cunty, like, early 2000s. You know, the goth girl in the movie was like wearing this. And I'm wearing like a ton of, like, I'm wearing Aries makeup, these Aries earrings that my mom made like years ago for like an astrology series that I did. Christ, what a throwback, right? But it's Aries season. Not today when I'm shooting, but today when it's come out, it is Aries season. By the way, before we continue the episode, let me just say, since today you have like only 3 or 4 days left to meter a gente a que sean pre-candidato prenominade a dieshis. So go to the link below y por favor sigue añadiendo más gente a la lista para que puedan ser posible nominado a dieshis. Thank you so much. Now let's start the episode. Also, before I continue, I want to say that I'm selling these shoes if you're interested. I think they're like a size 7.5 or 8. Anyway, it's Aries season, and to me, listen, I'm an Aries and I love Aries season, but I just love it because it's also springtime. I'm a spring baby. And, you know, it's so crazy how a lot of people think that like Capricorn is the first sign or whatever, or Aquarius or whatever, when it's actually Aries. Like in the astrology, you know, I don't even talk about astrology that much on this channel, do I? Like on this podcast, I don't. But it's sometimes fun. And I made a whole series about it, so you know, it's a fun topic for me personally. As I was saying, Aries is actually the first one in the cycle because it begins in spring. So it's like Aries, and then at the end it's Pisces. And the thing is that there's a lot of symbolisms. Like, for example, Aries, like every sign has like a, if you didn't know this, every sign has a body part. Aries is the head. And Pisces is actually the feet. So it's like, you know, it starts with the head and then it ends with the feet. You know, I don't know if a lot of Pisces are feet people, but it would make sense. Also, you know what? I just wanted to show you the shoes, but didn't want to show you the dogs for free. That's a good reminder of that. But anyways, it starts in spring. Aries is also like technically, like there's a lot of symbolisms. Aries is like the sign of like the child. It's the child of the zodiac. It's also like the sign of birth. It's like a very primal sign. If you don't know, like Aries, first of all, it's called Aries because it's based off of like the Roman, I think, god of war, or is it Greek? I usually get those two confused, even though I was like a geek for it in 8th grade, as a lot of us were. So Aries, like for those of you that don't care, I will have a timestamp for when I finish talking about my astrological sign because we're gonna get into like some fun stuff. But I just wanted to get this out of the way as to why I'm dressed like this, why the set is like this. But Aries is a sign of like, it's a very confrontational sign. It's a very intense sign, known for being very impulsive. It's a fire sign out of like all the elements of the signs because there's water, fire, air, earth. Every sign has an element and Aries is fire. To me, it's like the most fire of all, literally and figuratively. But yeah, Aries has a lot of symbolisms. The symbol is the golden fleece, which is like a ram. I always associate it with dragons, which is my favorite animal, if you didn't know. But also, just because of the dragon fire, but also because it's very intense. It's like a whole thing. But also like the horns. You know how some dragons have like horns and shit? I talk about them like they're real. But to me, like this hairstyle is kind of dragon-y. Not because of House of Dragon or Game of Thrones or anything. Just because it's like, it looks like 2 horns or something like that. I've also done like buns that kind of look like the fleeces, you know, the ram's like horns and stuff. I really love my astrological sign, not gonna lie. But I for some reason I wanted to bring in my astrological sign, not just for funsies, not just because it's like a fun, cool thing that I know too much about, but also because like it's spring. Like Aries season begins in spring. And I am born a week after spring begins. Not to make it about me. But I saw a TikTok. I wish I could find it because I've been thinking about this so much this year. I saw a TikTok that said like that winter, you know, a lot of people start like their resolutions in winter. Like a lot of people are like, oh, in January, I'm going to start doing this. I'm going to go to the gym. I'm going to do that thing I've been delaying or whatever. And winter is like a season. It's the end of the cycle, right? It's the end of the seasons. And it's the time where animals typically rest because of the cold, because like they're hibernating, right? And it's like winter is a time of rest. Winter is the time that you're like, everything is chill, or it's supposed to be, but in this capitalistic world. So honestly, the TikTok said that, like, it said that, and then like that anything you accomplish in winter, or at least like throughout those like first 2 almost 3 months, should be like an added extra to your year, right? Because technically the year, or at least like the cycle of the seasons, begins the 21st of March, which also, I love my birth month. I'm so sorry for y'all. I'm so sorry for the timing of the pandemic when it started, because it was March. And I've seen a lot of people hate on March. I love March. March is like, it's like the October of the first semester. That makes all the sense to me. I guess the reason I bring it is because I've been kind of going through something. I mean, first of all, I've been going to therapy, which is great. Still going great. Had a session last week. Great. But I've been going through, I don't know, I've been very depressed, and it's very like high and low. I'm starting to really track my menstrual cycle because I'm kind of fearing PMDD a little bit, which I will get checked out and stuff like that. But I don't know, I've been like also just questioning myself a lot, and questioning my, like, where am I going in life? Like, I'm just questioning a lot of that stuff. And to me, it's just fun to dabble in a little bit of symbolism, or like the mysticism of it all. Like, Aries season, rebirth, spring, which I also associate with like a lot of flowers. I don't know, florals for spring, groundbreaking. Yes, it is. To me, every year, it's always groundbreaking. What are you going to do about it? Yeah, I've been having a lot of reflections around, I've always wanted to do like an episode of not just Aries season, but like around my birthday, which to me, this is probably like the birthday-ish episode, which I've probably had a few. But I like doing those reflections. I'm going to be 28 on the 28th. This is my date year, pretty much. I have a folder on my computer, which is just like quotes and things that I've been thinking about lately about like aging. I've always wanted to do an episode on aging around my birthday, because it's something I've always thought about, but recently it's been a little more present in my head because I'm about to be 30, even though I feel so young. And I also feel like 28 is not old, and people that are 25 are like so catastrophic, like around their age. And like, there's also been a lot of talk about like, not ageism como tal, because I've actually seen a lot of positive like TikToks and reels about of people, de la tercera edad, as we say, make a lot of content around aging and just feeling better like after your 50s and 60s, and taking care of yourself. Like, all of that stuff is important and beautiful also, because I feel like a lot of people, we really need to see more content about older people, or content from older people that isn't just like conspiracy theories on Facebook. Like, especially for women, I feel like it's so lovely to see like older women just kind of living their lives, and not being just like your whatever stereotype you're thinking about what a 50-year-old woman or a 60-year-old woman is. Like, not all of them are grandmothers, and not all of them are mothers either, and they're not all just like, I don't know, like, it's so crazy how we used to, there's a whole thing about like aging, right? Like, we've seen videos from people from the 80s that look 30. There's like it's like a social phenomena. To me, aging in the social sense is really just like a social construct, because everyone ages differently. Everyone takes different paths in life, which everyone has like different, genetics and stuff that make them look either younger or older than they are. Like, we really shouldn't have this much anxiety over aging, especially like physically, like the way we look. We should have more anxiety over, are we even going to have healthcare in the next few years? Are we going to retire at 80? Like, we should really think about those things and benefits for our future more than we do the way we look. Because there's also like a lot of TikToks and stuff around like, this cream makes me look 23 when I'm 35. And it's like, who cares? Like, I'm so sorry, but it's like, or this one TikTok that was like, I'm 23 and this person thought I was 30. Like, are you beautiful though? which the girl in the video, she was. So like, why are you so anxious? Or like, not her, but like the general public, like, why are we so anxious towards aging? If we are blessed, it's something that's gonna happen to us, and we should be grateful that we get to age, because there's a lot of people that don't get to age. That like, I didn't want to touch on this, but like, I was thinking about this like student that died last week. This a student of my mom's. Like, my mom is very close to her mom, and she and I hate to deliver it this way or make it a part of this conversation this way, but she was my birthday twin, and I always remembered her. Like, I remember one time I didn't have school on my birthday, and my mom brought me to her school, and we celebrated her birthday, and she was a year older than me. And we celebrated her birthday, and every year on Facebook, whenever I was on Facebook, she would congratulate me, and like, I'd congratulate her back. She was exactly a year older than me, and she passed away last week. Sorry. Like, it's just, it's touched us a lot, and I wasn't even sure if I wanted to touch on that, but especially not in this context of aging, because to a lot of people it's so superficial. But I think there is a lot of anxiety around aging just in general, like superficially, and also like, I at least have a lot of anxiety around aging in the sense of, what am I doing with my life?
This podcast is brought to you by Raitru. Si no lo sabías, Raitru es un juego de mesa must have para los gets. Está basado en nuestra cultura y todo lo loco que pasa dentro de ella. Política, bellaquera, Bad Bunny. Bueno, todo lo que le molestaría a tu familia conservadora. Todo lo que criticaría, la Comay. Todo lo que alborotaría a Proyecto de Dignidad. Si no lo has jugado, mira, así se juega. Si es tu turno, tiras una carta del bonche rojo, que son los que tienen las premisas, como la siguiente. ¿Por qué salí en las noticias? O sea, esa es la pregunta. Y de las cartas que tiene todo el mundo, porque todo el mundo tiene como un bonche de cartas, que tienen respuestas como enseñar el culo, feminismo, políticos incompetentes, la maituya y otras cosas bien graciosas. La más graciosa que tiren es la que gana el round. Raitru también tiene unos expansion packs que se llaman babelones y vacilones. Son como cartas extra añadidas que se le añaden al juego. Si lo siguen en las redes, pueden enterarte de no solamente cuando están disponibles, pero también cuando salgan cositas nuevas. Y mira, Raitru es tan bueno que me dio un descuento solamente para los que escuchan TALKESHI. Eshi 10. Y tras que te daría un descuento, también estás ayudando al podcast y a tus futuros jangueos utilizando este descuento. Puedes comprarlo en raitru.shop, raitru.shop, y cuando utilizas el descuento Eshi 10 te da un 10% en toda tu compra. Y en verdad, gracias al que lo haga, que te salga un extra pechupop en tu orden de church si lo usas. Gracias, Raitru, por siempre apoyarme, y gracias a ustedes si lo usan, y seguimos con el podcast.
Because I think I take good care of myself. Well, I'm trying to take good care of myself physically. And that reflects on the outside as well, but hopefully mostly on the inside. Like, I think a lot about mobility. I hope I still have a lot of mobility and vitality in my 50s and stuff. But also, just, where am I even gonna be in the 50s? Like, what am I even doing? I'm having a little bit of a quarter life crisis with that. And yeah, it's just, I have a lot of things here. I have a lot of quotes and Tumblr posts and tweets about just things that I've been thinking about lately. One of them is being aging, but you know, something that does hold me down a little bit or grounds me. You know, a lot of us say like life is short, and technically it is, because like I've always thought about the fact that like there's things that happen in 85 million years on this earth, right? To the earth, 85 million years is like 3 years or something. Or I don't know, I'm not good at math, don't quote me on that. But we technically get around, if we're lucky, 85 years. We get around 85 years only. Like, that's a second of nothing. So life is, compared to everything, life is short. But life is also the long, like, okay, let me just make it clear that I also think we should see life as short in a good way of like, let's do what we really want to do in this life and not waste time. We really shouldn't waste any time. But also, life is the longest thing that you will go through, if you're lucky too. I mean, technically, life is the longest thing that you will ever go through. But if you're lucky, you get a long life. And also, I think the anxiety of time running out. Life is short and time does run out. But I think that if you judge your circumstances and you're doing just all right for yourself, even though you're not where you want to be, like, life is long. Como que en ese aspecto la vida es bien larga. And there's time for you if you really set yourself up for success. If you are, I don't know how to explain that thought, but because I really, it's very simple but also very complicated at the same time, but that's just something that I wanted to express. Another thing very much that I've been going through is like, first of all, I want to say that I'm a very blessed person. Like, I had something happen to me recently, and just about anything that I read, or, you know, if you've been catching up on pasting, like, you definitely know that, you know, if you're here and all you are doing about it is reading about it, speaking just in general, right, then you are a blessed person. If you don't have to worry about what's happening over there, you are a blessed and privileged person. And I've been thinking a lot about that, and I've been going through this thing, Saturn return, by the way, which, like, before I continue with that topic, I want to say that if you've heard Ariana's new album, you've heard of the Saturn return interlude, and you're probably wondering what a Saturn return is, which, like, I've read about before. Like, a few months ago I found out what it was after knowing about astrology for years. Let me just define it for you first. When you're born, if you're a man slut, you know what a birth chart is. And you know that you have like a sun, moon, and rising. That's because, like, the planets, which, like, the ingresses, the sign of each planet was, like, in that position at the time that you were born in. Like, if you're a Leo, or if you say you're a Leo, it's because the sun was in Leo. And if you have, like, let's say a Cancer moon, it's because the moon was in Cancer. At the time of birth, Saturn, being one of those planets, is at a certain position. Like, let's say that you were born in 96 and Saturn was in Pisces. Well, when you turn 29.5 years old, your Saturn returns. And apparently, like, astrologers read that as, like, something that's, like, it's a phenomenon that happens and you, like, fall into place and you, like, it's like an awakening or something. Recently, I feel like that's been happening to me. I feel like I had something happen to me recently where I was just like, you know what? Like, give it to me. Like, I have nothing to lose. Guide me in the direction where I have to go. And I've been getting a lot of, like, I don't want to say spiritual messages or anything, but I've been feeling very, like, drawn to... I've always known about capitalism. I've always been very aware that capitalism is not the way to go. But recently it's been hitting me even harder, and it's been like, I don't know. Like, maybe that's my purpose in life, to maybe, like, I don't know, do more philanthropy, which I think everyone should do. And maybe that's the thing. Maybe, like, if you feel lost in life, maybe you should do more philanthropy or charity, or do something for your community, which I've always wanted to do. I really do hope that somehow one day I can really give back to my community of Humacao. I actually genuinely, I'm putting it out there because I want to actually do it somehow. When I learn to, and when I have the resources to, I really want to do that. I want to mention Aaron Bushnell. If you've been reading the news, you know that Aaron Bushnell was the person that self-immolated. I don't remember where it was, but it was obviously very, like, it was a big news story. Also just very extreme and very, you know, it was a very visceral show of protest, you know, and people went through, like, his online posts and stuff, and, like, I want to paraphrase a little, that he saw that the difference between himself and, like, friends who were less radical was that he could envision a better world, that he could actually see a world where everyone was taken care of, you know, like, you know, a post-scarcity world, he says. And that makes sense. A lot of people, like, there's always been that comic, I don't remember the specific, like, comic character, but there's, like, a comic of, like, a little boy that his mom says, like, things could be worse, but then, like, he says, well, mom, things could be better. And I fully believe that. I feel like a lot of people are stuck in this cycle of, like, well, this is just how things are, you know, the family unit, that's just how it's always been. And it's like, our generation has been imagining more than that recently, and I really love that. What I'm looking on here, a lot of it is just, like, some personal things that I've been going through. I will read something. I don't know if I put this in my diary or not, but I want to read it because it really does resonate with me right now. that the whole time, or this whole time, you know, these past few years, ever since college, let's say, I've been talking about recently how I don't want to be an influencer anymore, or that I'm just not interested in the current state of being a content creator. I mean, I'll still, you know, like there's an ad read right now. And it's for a company that's like woman owned, woman run. Like there's a lot of ethics to this company. Let me just say that before you guys are like, oh, I thought you didn't want to show for companies. Well, this one's a local company with really good ethics. So let me just say that. But yeah, I wrote something that said like the whole time I knew it, because I honestly deep inside of me felt it. I was like, I wanted to be an influencer or like a content creator. We all know I hate the word influencer. Because in part it was what I wanted to achieve. There's an essence of it, like the notoriety, the influence, the creation of what seems to be art, because of course, like as a content creator, you have a lot of creative direction as to where your content should go, whether that would be like what you would talk about or the visuals or anything like that, right? And all that stuff I was drawn to. But now I know I'm meant for more. What is that more? I don't know. I'm still figuring it out. But I also feel like, you know, I've been thinking about also people's definition of success, my family's definition of success, which would not be my definition of success, which would be, you know, just like being a polyglot in a way. Is that what that means? Like when you do a lot of things or when you're dedicated to a lot of crafts? I would like to do that. What are the crafts? I don't know. I'm good at a few things. I'm good at drawing. I'm good at yapping my butt off on this podcast, but doing a lot of things, and just like, I don't know. I'm very much questioning that right now, and it's pretty hard, and I'm just trying to enjoy the process and be present and enjoy myself and enjoy my time being 27, the last few weeks of 27, while I can, and just being 30 and 40 and 50. I want to enjoy that time while also just finding my purpose in a way, even though maybe that's not like a peak moment. Maybe that's just like a process, right? A progress of like things that happen, but who knows? And I am grateful that I came to this conclusion, because I've never been more spiritually aligned. It is not how they paint it though. Like, I do feel very awake right now, or very just like present, and it's not all washy-washy how they paint it. You know, like so many people are like, oh, you know, I do meditation and I do this and I open myself up to the universe and whatever. And it's like, it's so much better and grounded and real and funny and ironic and messy and what's that word? Like, when you counter yourself, contradictive, and sad and exciting and heartbreaking to be this in tune with my purpose. But I will never ignore my intuition again, because I always say that I have really bad intuition. Like whatever, woman's intuition, what is that? Or like just inklings? I don't have those. I don't know why. I also, being me is such an isolating experience sometimes. I don't know if it's because I'm hyper aware of things, or just because I feel like if people were more hyper aware, they'd probably wouldn't relate to people as much as they do. Or because I don't feel like I relate to a lot of people, so I feel alone in the things that I want and the things that I do. I feel like I'm ending this episode really. Did I get really in deep with everything that I wanted to touch? No, because a lot of the things were actually pretty personal, you know, about like being present and really intentional about enjoying your life. And I feel like I have nothing to really abundar sobre. God. Love mixing my Spanish with my English, love mixing my English with my Spanish. And I received a reply that was like, si hablaran más que un lenguaje a la vez, sería más escuchable. Is escuchable even a word, first of all? But also, second of all, yo sé que ustedes me entienden. Quienes escuchan este podcast hablan igual que yo. So en verdad, I don't feel like I have to change myself for anyone. Just wanted to really say that. I didn't get to everything that I wanted to discuss, even though I feel like somehow I also did, because I just excluded maybe the things that weren't necessary. Yeah, I've just been like having to sit down with myself a little more. If you've been listening to the Ariana album, second reference to it, by the way, but that song We Can Be Friends, which I think is about something else completely, ask me about it in the comments, or ask it directly, and I'll go on a tangent for you. There's that one line that says, "Me and my truths, we sit in silence. Baby girl, it's just you and me." But just the fact that I can sit here and, just talk about this makes me very happy, and I'm just very grateful. And I'm very excited for Aries season. I really just want to have a lot of fun in Aries season and just be, like I was talking about, very present and very, very Ariesy. I guess that was so stupid. Happy Aries season to all my Aries and just everyone out there. I hope you enjoy. I hope it's a time of just, I don't even know. It's so weird. I don't associate, honestly, to me, peak Aries season is the first week. It's like the funnest week for some reason. I love the month of March, but that's Pisces season. However, like last week of March, for some reason, is the funnest. And Beyonce's album is coming out next week. So obviously, it's the best season. Thank you so much if you watched, because this was a very personal episode. This had nothing to do with anything interesting that's going on in the media right now, or like, this was just me sitting down and reflecting and just looking good while I do it, I guess. Thank you so much. Thank you so much to Raitru for sponsoring this episode and many more. Go check out the links for Palestinian relief. Go inscribe more people to be possibly nominale a the Eshis. With the Eshis, I have so much cool stuff planned, even though it's not going to be like in person or anything. It's going to be super fun, and I hope you guys enjoy the content that's going to come out this Eshi season, which is fully in bloom during Aries season, of course. And yeah, thank you so much for watching and listening, and I will see you in the next one. Well, there will be a next one. Very excited for that, because we'll probably have a guest. Who knows? But yeah, there will be a lot of cool stuff for the podcast, not just episodes, but on the Instagram, so be sure to check that out. And yeah, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.